and regions. So I'm inviting to the stage. Is somebody okay? I am inviting to the stage Latin America. On what?
Excuse us for this slight misunderstanding, but I feel that I needed to give a bit more clarity about the community area discussion that we had yesterday, why we were having this discussion. Arthur, if I could ask you to bring up the first presentation. Okay. One thing that we are all very much immersed in this day and age is over-information. Over-information. And you all use WhatsApp, I imagine, the majority of you. And you know what happens when there are many WhatsApp groups. The information gets mixed up, it gets changed, messages are mixed. And it is for this reason that we, at the last Ioris Steering Committee meeting, agreed to institutionalize certain community areas. So they become known, they become set, and they don't change, and they're not duplicated. So if I could have the first slide, Arthur, please. So this is the current state of the commonly used community areas. The ones in green are the ones which are the community areas administered by Crimario. They're administered by EU Crimario for two reasons. Every day we do, as you're aware, the communications checks. The communications checks are there for two reasons. A, for us to register who is on the platform. And from those community areas, we take notes, and that goes towards the qualification of the points for membership. And I'll come to that later on this morning. And then there are the GCAs, which are geographic community areas. They are geographic community areas. They are not administered by Crimario. Sometimes you invite us in, other times we're not there. We don't want to be there. We are there only if you want us to be there to support in one way or another. Those are the red ones. Then there are the yellow ones. Those are thematic community areas. So they are for a specific objective. The specific objective is that it can either be for search and rescue, it can be for addressing IUU fishing, and those are established by the partners, again, according to a needs basis. So moving forwards, we have felt that there is a need to define and establish these, which will be there, will be known, and will be agreed by the Ioris Steering Committee, because at the moment they are very informal. May I have the next slide, please? So this is basically what I have just said. We ensure harmonization by having these community areas which are standard, using agreed nomenclature. There's a structured process to get these formalized. It allows for clear management of the community areas, and it allows for visibility and access. Next, please. So at the moment, this is the way we have been working, right? A very informal process, countries come together in a group and they are established. The agreement is amongst the countries. There is a means through which is very informal, that the partners ask our administration to establish a community area. And that's basically, at the moment, it's EU Cremario which gets it done. But we want to move forward, and we would like to institutionalize how we do this amongst us with the Ioris Steering Committee. May I have the next slide, please? So the idea is that the partners make a proposal to establish a community area. The steering committee reviews this community area. The administrator is asked to establish the community area. The partners are informed, and with Cremario support, and inside the community area, it is agreed who administers from the partner's side. Next, please. What is important to understand here is that there are the formal community areas and the informal community areas. So when it comes to states will be able to, or organizations will be able to continue creating community areas how they deem fit. Even if 2 or more countries want to come together and create an informal community area, they can do it. That will not change. What we are proposing, however, is that the main community areas are institutionalized, right? And so during the course of your discussions yesterday, which will continue today, we would like to move towards institutionalizing those community areas which have been active for the last 2 years, okay? And in the afternoon session, in the closed session, the steering committee will then endorse them. So this is the intent. So I've spoken to the regional representatives and country representatives to get you together to hopefully agree to institutionalize these community areas so that they are established and they are firm, and we avoid duplication of community areas in the future, to avoid, once again, loss of information, misunderstandings, etc., etc. So apologies, Alice, for taking the stage in that rush, but I felt I had to get this point across. I now hand back to you so that you can take forward the other remaining presentations. Thank you.
Your glasses, Martin. Okay, thank you, Martin. So we are going to discuss about these community areas, the institutionalization or formalization of these community areas throughout the day. We have a few moments and sessions when we can go through this as a region. And we'll do that. So at the end of the day, we will have this hopefully agreed, and we can move forward with these aspects, which are for us, they are very important and also should be also important for you. So we are going to discuss this throughout the day. Now, as I said, we own the regions that haven't been presented yesterday, what they discussed. So Latin America, Diego. Yes, please.
Good morning, all. As you all know, Latin America community is growing and growing every day. We have a lot of countries sharing information in Ioris and strengthening the collaboration. And I'm summarizing what they decided, the authorities decided yesterday during the syndicates. So of course we have a hub, Latin America hub, which is quite active. And we, or the admirals present here and the general, would like to stress the collaboration in some thematical community areas, TICAs. We are reinforcing two areas for search and rescue, one for Atlantica, one for Pacific. So we will having search and rescue area in the Atlantic and in the Pacific, two areas. Reinforcing the IUU TICA. In that case, is one community area for both sides, for Atlantic and Pacific, because the problem is the same, and the fleet that is working some seasons on the year in the Atlantic then moves to the Pacific. So it's a dedicated community area, IUU fishing, that is already working, and we are strengthening. We are working in some JICAs. One is the Latin Pacific JICA we already have, and is working really good. We have 105 users in that area in 24 countries, and they are exchanging information really in an incredible way. Thank you to Cliffo and the counterparts in Pacific. We link with the Latin Pacific countries, mainly in anti-narcotic, and is working quite well. We are creating a JICA, a Latin JICA, as the director explained now. A new JICA for Antarctica, for coordination in the south, among Chile, Argentina, and probably some other countries. A new JICA for hydrovia, which is quite important, the use of the river in Paraguay, where the narco traffic is every day increasing, and is amazing community area to share information about the narcotics, reaching Atlantic and after Atlantic, Africa and Europe. A new JICA for Caribe, to join the Caribbean countries starting using Ioris. We have already two JICAs working quite well, which is the one on the International Fusion Center in Peru, linking all the countries in the region, and in some other regions providing information every day. Another one for Orion multinational strategy in Colombia, as well linking a lot of countries, not only Latin America. And we are creating two new community areas with the accelerated energy to link the floating storage regasification units in Argentina and Brazil. So thank you, Tony, because your collaboration, and the Latin partners are happy to exchange in these community areas that are about to be created. And that's all regarding Latin America.
Thank you very much, Diego. So now I am inviting Roja, who is presenting from Roja, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ismail Sedige. I'm Chief Oriental Officer, Deputy Director, the Djibouti COMOC. So today, I would like to say something what we discussed yesterday for the Roja group. So allow me to say something about this. What works well in regional cooperation? We have a well-established regional and community area in Roja JICA. The second question was, what areas of improvement should be considered? Quicker and swifter creation of OPCA when accident of solar occur, and push notification or risk application will help it. Initial and closing notification to be sent through the Roja JICA. What EU CRIMAL will do to support the proposed changes? Provide the best practice to partner to enhance quick action, time and operational rules. Also, the next question is also, what could CRIMAL to do support enhancing coordination in regional operations? Approach and bring more coastal states in the Red Sea on board areas such as Egypt and Saudi Arabia. We would like to be part of the Roja group. How will you strengthen regional cooperation with our supporting community area? Accidentally journal a type of be shared in Indian Nation Hub for awareness, but specific accidents regarding the Roha to be shared and addressed the Roha Jika in specific OPCA. That's what we discussed yesterday, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir, for being very brief and concise about what has been the discussion in the Roja for the Rojas region. And now the region that hasn't been yet spoken is the Western Indian Ocean, right? Who is going to present? South Asia, sorry. Please, South Asia.
Good morning, everyone. I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to Mr. Bjorns and Rear Admiral Pradeep sir, and the syndicate member for your invaluable guidance and the exceptionally fruitful discussion that enabled us to formulate a comprehensive response to the very valid question posed during our proceedings. So for number one, that the effective aspects of regional cooperation varies for South Asia. Information sharing on transnational maritime crimes, facilitating the exchange of intelligences among partner agencies on narcotics trafficking, human trafficking, IUU fishing, search and rescue operation, and vessels engaged in false flagging or AIS spoofing. And on the second one, that areas requiring improvement, the capacity building through technological advancement, development of firm and practical SOPs for the platform, formal inter-organizational agreements to govern data sharing and operational coordination, real-time information sharing mechanisms, improved capabilities for identifying false flagged vessels, enhanced security for merchant shipping. Most importantly, enhancing real-time and more clear picture on non-AIS contracts to identify IUU phishing and AIS manipulating and human trafficking. Potential role of EU Crimario in supporting proposed changes. That again, the capacity building initiatives, promoting equal national interagency operability across member states, facilitating the sharing of required information in a timely and secure manner, supporting 24/7 manning of operation rooms to ensure continuous maritime domain awareness. Number 4, enhancing coordination in regional operations. To further strengthen operational coordination, EU Crimario should consider bringing additional neighboring countries on board as active participants in the regional framework. Number 5, the structural recommendation for regional operation with Ioris support. Establishing a regional hub is recommended as the most effective structural model to facilitate coordination and operational oversight. And institutionalization, we say yes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, sir. So now I think we have covered all the regions, or is still the, yes, Indian Ocean, yes. I haven't counted correctly. So please, sir, come here.
Thank you. So good morning, everybody. I see this opportunity as speaking words without saying it. So thank you, Martin and the team, for the great efforts that have been done for these days. So let's talk directly with the subject that we have to cover. So the work held, okay, what worked well in the regional cooperation in the Western Indian Ocean, the world sharing on information, and of course we have the Indian Ocean Hub, all right, through the Ioris. So as we all can confirm that this platform has proven to be an effective tool for enhancing regional maritime cooperation by improving information sharing, operational coordination also, and trust among participants, participating states, sorry. Yeah, its value lies not only in the technology itself, but also in the network of partnerships and collaborative practices it has helped establish in the Western Indian Ocean region. To move on to the areas of improvement that we should consider. So upon, diversified ideas and sharing from all the friends on the table. So we do have the search and rescue hub where we have the information sharing is not being done properly. That's what we have concluded this. So we have this interagency collaboration. So each country has to work out, agency that should form part of any community area to be created. Because sometimes messages, information have been passed, but they are not acknowledged properly. We don't have this two-way communication. It's not a communication if we don't have these two-way things. So communication checks also, because this daily communication checks is very important so that we know that you are alive and you're not dormant. Okay, this also we have to work on that. So for SAR operation also, let me tell you, there was one example, it was last month, it was in May. So we had one search and rescue that Tanzania reported, okay, to Mozambique because it was in the SR Mozambique. Now Mozambique, due to restricted assets, to provide search and rescue, they communicated with Madagascar, okay, to provide support. But unfortunately, there was no this acknowledgement, to this operation. That's what we have to work about, So these things, it reflects on us so that we can go and work on it so that we can use this Ioris platform effectively and efficiently. So the third one, what could Primario do to support the proposed changes? So I would say that Primario can continue to act as a facilitator, a capacity builder, and technical partner by providing training, technical support, regional exercises, and strategic guidance. Through these efforts, it can help strengthen the operational use, sustainability, and effectiveness of Ioris as a key enabler of maritime cooperation in the Western Indian Ocean region. So, yes, again, it is a platform. We are everybody, each and everybody, we are in our country, in our office, on our board, everywhere. But these TTX simulation exercises, even real-time exercises that we can do, between partners, between states, this will improve our communication and all that. All right? So what could Primario do to support the proposed changes also? So I don't know whether it will be a good thing, because we had some countries speaking about funding, as I said, assets were not there to assist in search and rescue. So I don't know how Primario can do that to approach this through international partners, international funders. So number 4, how could Primario do to support enhancing coordination in regional ops? So it can help in prompt decision, during operation, and help eliminating gaps in the process, and then can enhance efficient sharing of information among national stakeholders. So number 5, how could you structure regional cooperation with Ioris support community area? So with the great amount of time and energy, efforts, and budget incurred in the project, we have to ensure that any regional operation conducted can lead to a proper legal finish, come successful prosecution. So my question is, have we addressed all the legal challenges, or is it country-specific for domestication of laws? See, all these efforts have been done, but we would be very happy when we see the culprits being prosecuted. Then we can say, bravo Zulu, isn't it? Yeah? So last one. So which community area would you agree to institutionalize, as Martin said? So we have the search and rescue, we have the IUU, okay, very important thing in the Indian Ocean, and then drug trafficking. All right. So to sum up with all this, I will share with you, in the maritime world, I would say that we have 5 C's, Charlie, 5 C's. I would talk about the coordination, the cooperation, the collaboration, the communication. And lastly, you see why the fund is separate. The fund stands for competition. We have to keep it separate. So I will finalize with one phrase, with all these in this. Like ships in harmony upon the sea, we sail with coordination, we steer with cooperation, we build with collaboration, and we chart our course through cooperation. Why the need for competition when the horizon is shared beautifully? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I believe everybody liked your presentation and the points that you rightfully brought up about the 5 C's. And in this, there is a competition that we all felt when we were in the navies, coast guards, etc. But the idea, I think, behind what we do here with Crimario and particularly through Ioris is to enable a constructive competition. A competition that can only bring what is best out of each organization rather than trying to go on top of the other. So I am sure you understand what I mean. So thank you again. And I think now we covered all the regions. And with that, I think we can formally enter the first session of the third day, which is about Ioris sustainability. And without further ado, I am inviting the director of EU Crimario, Martin, to come to stage to present you about this very, very important aspect. Martin.
Thank you, Alex. I'm afraid you'll be hearing my voice for an hour or so before we break out into the coffee break and the last networking session. So when we started the Ioris project and we were moving forward, obviously we hoped that we would be successful. But we never thought that it would grow to this magnitude. Obviously, we hoped it would grow to this magnitude, but now that we are succeeding and there is an ever-growing willingness to continue expanding, we need to see how we are going to sustain all this in the long term. And so we have been thinking and planning about this for 2 years. So it didn't just happen. Could I have the next slide, please, Arthur? Thank you. So first of all, many of you frequently question, is the EU trying to offload the burden onto the partners? The clear and frank question will be answered by Antoine, but it is a definitely no. The EU has no intention of unplugging. It started this initiative in 2018, and it will continue to push forward. But like I said, as we grow almost exponentially, we need to see how the EU can be alleviated from this burden. And we're looking at options. Looking at, the way things develop in business, obviously. The more users you have on the platform has 2 implications. One, there are more operational costs because data needs to be stored and it needs to be processed. So that's one aspect of it. But the other aspect of it is the more organizations which use the platform, the less the cost will be per organization. Next, please. So, at the moment, I want to underline at this stage that there is no intention of passing any financial burden onto the beneficiary partners, okay? I say again, there is no intention at all of passing any financial burden onto the beneficiary partners. So the EU will continue to sponsor the beneficiary partners' involvement in the Ioris Steering Committee. At the moment, there are over 150 organizations from 60 plus countries who are on the platform. And as I mentioned yesterday, over 500 ships have used Ioris repetitively. And some big shipping companies there, and in the Red Sea, it's around 50 a week at the moment. So our idea is that we continue exposing the shipping industry to the value of Ioris to see eventually if the shipping industry could be inclined to chip in a little bit. The intellectual property rights. So who owns Ioris? A question which is frequently asked. Who owns the IPR? The IPR is owned by Expertise France on behalf of the European Commission, because when the project started out, Expertise France, which is the implementation organization of EU Cremario, was tasked to create this software, and here we are today. As we move forward, there is an issue of, will the EU keep the intellectual property rights or not? This is currently being discussed at the highest levels in Brussels. Next, please. So, how much does Ioris really cost, right? The maintenance and running costs of the system are not that great. They're around 472,000 euros annually. So as you can see, when we have 150 organizations using Ioris, and those are the annual running costs, they are not that high when you consider the grand scheme of things. When you look at the AIS that we provide, okay, that is half the cost of the maintenance and running. And obviously that is paid every year. And you all get the AIS because when we negotiated the contract with the AIS provider, we made sure that all those on the system get the AIS. So what is not included in the annual costs, which is probably the major expense? It is the human resources costs of the Cremario team, the organization of steering committees like today, and future IT developments. Those are not included in the Ioris steering committee costs.
Check 1, 2.
So now, building a platform and using a platform, as you can see, is not that expensive. The real expense is to build a network, okay? To get you together and to get you to work together, to get the experts to deploy it to your countries, to get you trained on Ioris, to get you in different meetings, to organize the exercises. So it's the implementation, which is the high cost, right? The implementation. Next, please. So what is our intent as we go forward? Our intent is that the governance structure will remain the Ioris Steering Committee, so this will continue to go forward as planned. The EU will continue to co-chair as long as it is the majority funder in the program, because it is only right. If it is paying for all the services, then we feel that the EU should be still in the lead. As I mentioned before, low-income states will not contribute any funding to it, so the EU will continue to sponsor these great initiatives. We are looking at other funding streams, and if we get money, and when we get money, what we will have is an Ioris fund where the money will go into to cover certain costs related to Ioris. Next, please. So we are looking at selling Ioris licenses to high-income countries, right? Now that we are pretty much dominating much of the global south, there are the more powerful countries which can afford to buy a license. We're looking at offering them a license which they may wish to purchase. That will automatically give them access to the Ioris Steering Committee as a full member. Another avenue of approach that we are looking at to bring about Ioris sustainability is the MARCOM application annual licenses. So let me give you two examples. I mentioned this yesterday. You get many fisheries authorities which are unable to track and monitor the progression of their small-scale fishers. A country may have 5, 10, 15,000 small-scale fishers. And there is a growing need that these organizations, for sustainability purpose in terms of fisheries, need to record the movements of these small fishing boats and also get their catch reported. Now, what's happening at the moment is that many countries are organizing their own little mobile app for fishers. It's starting to happen. But what we are hoping to do is offer this one application to many fisheries organizations, many fisheries authorities, with the intent that hopefully they will be agreeable to finance an amount of money per user. It will be very small, but it will go into this Ioris fund. And if you have hundreds and thousands of these small one-time users, which with a very low subscription, we feel that that could already cover quite a bit of the expense. Now, you may question, how will the fisheries authorities be able to finance this? If fishers report their catch, that will be taxable, and the fisheries authorities will earn money from it. So if they have to give a small amount of money for these subscriptions for the fishing boats, the cost will be covered twofold, threefold, if not more. So this is one aspect when it comes to fisheries, what we're looking at. There is another dimension to this, which is seafarers. The shipping departments in countries need to have a living link with their seafarers. Some countries have hundreds of thousands of seafarers. And what we are hoping is that we will enter agreements with shipping departments. So again, they will take on this application in exchange for getting their seafarers to pay an annual subscription. I'm talking about $1 a year or $2 a year, right? It is not that much. And from here alone, my personal gut feeling at the moment is that we will be able to cover a lot of the Ioris running costs. Next, please. I mentioned shipping already. I mentioned the value that Ioris is already giving. The shipping companies do have a bit of money to invest. So as Ellie explained yesterday, we're looking at developing the Ioris shipping variant and the Ioris mobile phone variant. So perhaps as we move forward and shipping companies get more and more adjusted and enjoy using, hopefully, and see the value of using Ioris, maybe the shipping industry will also chip in a little bit of money into this Ioris fund. Next, please. Ports is another area that could be rich in potential. You heard yesterday Tony Martorelli and Chittagong Port with the pilot project where they are looking at, and with success, connecting ships with ports to provide services. Ioris can then develop into a port information system. Again, it's one system which can be used by many countries, and perhaps there may be a bit of potential in securing some funds there. Tied to this, it's a bit more ambitious. It is the maritime single window. With the maritime single window, ports are today obliged to abide by the FAL Convention. They have to upload, I think it's around 11 forms before they go into a port, right? At the moment, most countries have got a maritime single window, but many do not have this, right? So if we develop this, we can target all the ports which do not have a maritime single window yet. You know, and imagine seafarers. I just heard Charlotte yesterday speaking about every time they go into a port, they have to upload different forms, right, Charlotte? Now, if you go into many different ports, you know, the master mariner always has to get used to the system of the different ports. Just imagine how nice it would be if there was a harmonized system where master mariners knew that there was only one way, that one system where the forms were uploaded. This will not happen because now many ports have already developed their systems, but for those ports which do not have a maritime single window yet, this could be a possibility. But I have to underline that this is being a bit ambitious. Next, please. Fund management, how will we manage this fund? So the fund will be managed by Expertise France on behalf of Cremario. The funds will be used for critical IT developments and upgrades. It could be used to cover maintenance and running costs, and it could be used for AIS subscriptions. I say could, I underline could, because the intent currently now is to keep this as a reserve fund, because at the moment, the EU is graciously still funding EU Cremario, so that will be a reserve. Decision-making process. So since the EU is the funder, it is obviously only appropriate that the EU decides where the funds will be spent. However, There's a bit of echo. Sorted. However, like I said, we are looking at donors, more and more donors, apart from those buying license, who would potentially chip into this fund. And I'm happy to announce today that France has agreed to contribute already to the fund, which is our first donor, I see reporting and oversight. You all. The idea is that the funds which are generated will be reported to the executive Ioris steering committee, excuse me, and we will inform you of the balance of these funds held. Next, please. And that's about it. So I know there was quite a bit of important information there. You may have some certain gray areas that you feel you would want to clarify. Now is the moment. Please don't be shy. We face these questions all the time. So go ahead, and if you have any queries or questions, please fire away. I'm ready to take them. We're lucky that we have the European Union with us here, and in case there are any questions, I'm sure Antoine will be more than willing to address them. So, who's going to be the bold one to take the first question? Thank you, Lieutenant Commander Colati.
Good morning, sir. This is just curious as to, from your experience, which industry has been challenging not to crack in terms of pushing or sort of validating Ioris as a choice? Is it the fisheries industry or is it the shipping industry?
Good question. Thank you very much. I have to be honest, and I will say that the shipping industry is a tougher nut to crack. The thing is, you can't simply get anyone to pay for something if they do not believe that they need it. It's impossible, right? So the strategy is to gradually, and hopefully with your support, get them to become familiar with the platform, get them to use it, get them to see the value, and then maybe in time, they maybe start being inclined to chip into the Ioris fund, or maybe we will start selling licenses to them. But it isn't something which can happen overnight. It has to be a long-term strategy where we get them familiar with the platform, and then hopefully they see the value. And if it becomes business as usual, then I think they will see the utility of it. But we don't want to push industry into buying licenses. We want to convince them, that there is value in us working together. Any other questions, perhaps? Yes, thank you. The captain at the back, Philippines.
Good morning, Martin. Captain Baxen of the Philippine Coast Guard. For the Ioris way forward, particularly in the sustainment, may I ask, how do we determine a low-income state? And can you explain more about its how it will be going to happen, the arrangement for the sustainment of a country? Can you discuss more on that?
Can you repeat the first bit, because I didn't quite understand you?
How can we determine a low-income state for the Ioris sustainment?
Yes. How is a low-income state determined?
Yeah.
Very good question. Where is the borderline?
The threshold.
The threshold. Letitia, do you want to answer that one?
For the moment, we took the classification of the World Bank, which classifies countries, so in low income, middle income, and high ranking countries, but open to discussion, I would say.
Yes. So at the moment, yeah, there is an index that we look at, but we haven't defined the threshold, okay? But I think I can say that the majority of you here may be a bit below it, so. Antoine.
Yes, thank you. In the European Union, there's a clear classification based on the World Bank on indeed low, middle income and high income countries. And so I think we need to respect that. We can't just open these criteria like this. And why? Because the funding that is dedicated to EU Crimario and to our program in general is for low income and middle income countries, okay? And so we are basing and using the same methodology and criteria. So I don't think we need to open this. It's quite clear for now.
Thank you, Antoine, for that clarification. Very good. Any more discussions? Pan, over to you, Thai Navy.
Yeah, I just have a personal question. So what you just proposed is that all the options for the new project, and is it going to be linked with the old partner or the partner that some of the countries have signed the IPA with you? Are there going to be any link with that, or is separately?
No, it's separated from that, okay? The Ioris partnership agreement is basically the non-binding agreement that EU Crimario has with partners and what EU Crimario will contribute and finance, and the commitment from partners to use Ioris, right? Respecting certain principles and policies such as data potential. So they will be kept separate, you know, but as we move forward, I think what we are prioritizing at this moment in time is the Ioris mobile phone application, where we're moving forward already. When it comes to the marker map, we're in the final stages of negotiation with the partners, right? That will already unlock the first possibility for us to start approaching ship registries and fisheries authorities, right? And after those developments, subject to our availability of funds, then we will start working on the other Ioris variants, you know, Ioris ships, Ioris sports, Ioris fisheries, Ioris SAR, okay? That is all subject to availability of funds and priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's very encouraging that Ioris, although not started for the fishing segment, and you're here to develop these Irish fish part of the whole thing. And my country is also very much interested to have an account on the fishing boats, because although in my country we have 20 to 30,000 registered fishing boats, but then actually in reality, I think around 200,000 boats are plying for fishing.
200,000
So
boats.
this is a big challenge for the government to have an account on the fishing boats,
yes,
and also about their safety and security at sea, because
yes,
a lot of times it happens that the four boats are at distress or being attacked by some of the dacoits. So these are things happening very frequently. So government is also very much interested to have some system in place to take the accountability of those ships. And I find if Irish fish is there, then it is definitely going to be very much welcomed by the country. But can you give me a kind of assurance that when a country is having so many fishing boats at sea, and with that, where most of the fishermen are not, number one, very much literated, you know, they don't have the knowledge on these whole thing, and also many of them will not be very much interested to also have this, you know, because they don't want to be accountable.
Of course.
So with having all these challenges, how much Ioris could help with this fish project to the government for taking the accountability and also providing support whenever they are needed. And also I'm sure my government will also accept the proposal of Ioris even to buy a license if this kind of assurances are given from the Ioris. So this
Yes.
is what is my point. Thank you.
So let me underline 2 points here. First of all, this is not about us trying to make money, right? We're not a private company, a business trying to make hundreds of thousands of euros. This is about us coming together and finding means through which we can cover the cost of Ioris. To, once again, support the EU's major contribution. Okay? So, and whenever we go forward, we're not going to do any pricing models which countries cannot afford. Because what's the point of it then? We want to make this affordable for the countries. Ideally, we try and have a common price for everyone, but maybe there's a need to adjust accordingly. These are decisions to be taken in the future. The second point, when it comes to fisheries, with fisheries there are high commercial implications, right? There are high commercial implications. So this isn't something that you can ask your fishermen to do. It would have to be through a regulation where they would need to be obliged to go on the app, right? And then it's up to your enforcement authorities to make sure they do it. Now, keep in mind that when it comes to mobile phone, like Ellie explained yesterday, right? You want to see where the fishing boat is going out to. This will be mobile phone range because of data. They can't afford the satellite link, right? So you will pick up their position on Ioris until mobile phone range. When they go outside, the positions are stored. When they come back into mobile range, the positions are sent. Okay? That's where you can know where the fishing boats are, if you have to make inspections, etc., etc. But, you know, with the regulation, you would then need to put measures in place where they report their catch. You know, you can take a photo on the app, send the photo to fisheries agencies, you know, and then when they go into ports, at least when they come to unload their fish, the amount of fish that has been caught is registered. And that will then allow you to take a small cut or tax or whatever from that catch. Have I answered your questions? Okay. Any other questions, please? Please don't be shy. I'm sure there are many unclarities, perhaps. Okay, let me just throw a question out there. How many of your fisheries authorities do you think this application will be helpful for? Okay, so if you could raise your hands and let us know if you think this will be of value to your fisheries authorities, it would be good to see. Could you raise your hands, those who are interested? So we have Somalia, we have Seychelles, we have Tanzania, Ethiopia, Panama, PNG, Philippines, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh as well, okay. Argentina, PNG, Fiji, Solomon Islands, and FSM. So that's already quite a number, and Yemen as well. So as you can see, and we have Mauritius at the back as well. As you can see, this is already a very positive thing that we can, I feel comfortable progressing on. Same question now, but for shipping. How many shipping departments, national shipping departments, do you think will be interested in using the Markham app to link to their seafarers? So we have Fiji, Tonga, Mauritius, Ethiopia, PNG, Yemen, Philippines, Jordan. Okay, already very encouraging as well. And Somaliland Coast Guard. Thank you. So, with that, if there are no more questions, I think we can conclude this session. and hopefully have a coffee break now, right? No? Thank you very much for your attention and your feedback. Much appreciated. Okay, so we just discussed, we'll have the coffee break now, and we'll convene at 20 past. Please be back seated at 20 past. Thank you very much. But it should be.
Delegates, when you are coming back from the coffee break, Kenya Coast Guard Service has organized for some gift hampers to take with us back to our countries. So when you're coming back, please make sure to collect one.
These feelings.
Those are the most important things in life. If you got $1 billion, million, $1 trillion, understand what I'm telling you. This fundamental.
Everyone gets a calling. Everybody gets a talent. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Mama wanted me to be doctor. Papa wanted me engineer. People wanted me politician, but music now it make me happy. I don't believe another man's dream. Yeah, I must follow the voice inside me. Mama no, Papa no, no vex, Mama no vex, Papa. Now my child, no vex, I beg. No it makes me happy. My songs heal broken hearts. Dancing gives me joy. My dance puts smiles on many faces. If I follow till God give me, I know better days go come. Mama no, Papa no, Mama no, Papa. Now my child, no, I beg. People get different callings. No go copy another person. Follow your talent and your purpose. Focus on your daily bread. Not everybody did sing like Burna Boy. Not everybody did shine like Davido. Not everybody did dance like Whiskey. Not everybody did act like Monkey Akindele. But everybody got one special gift. Everybody got one special life. Find your own path and follow. Success go shawty. My love, Papa love. No vex, Mama, no vex, Papa. Try me, no vex, no vex, no vex, no Everybody get a talent. Follow your dreams and make your people proud.
Do, 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 do. Oh, where did he go? Knock, knock. Who's there? No one. Enough. Quiet your mind mouth with Ovid gum. Chew good.
Oh, Shiva.
You're such a rush, my baby, slow down, come find your love. I'm hoping you see me, come serve it up. Loving when you stir it up, that body belong on TV. Oh, this feeling I can't hide, you're feeling up my mind, and I just don't know why.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done in a list view. Next, I set a priority and a due date to keep things on track. I create custom statuses to organize my progress exactly how I want it. I like to add the action items field so AI can show me the next steps. I add my teammates as watchers so they're in the loop. ClickUp makes work easy, from personal projects to running a multi-billion-dollar company. Click the link below to create your workspace for free.
We always recommend Shopify. It took us from an idea to a real business. We got set up, I think, in less than a day. Shopify gives us the ability to customize without the complexity. We're Thirsty Turtle, and we leveled up our business with Shopify.
Okay, everybody, please, I will invite you to take your seats. We are going to continue. Because we are still lagging behind, so we are going to cut sections. I will let you know if you can. So let's you stop the music. Okay, we are going to continue. Please take your seats. Thank you very much. What is my computer? I don't need computer. So if you can please inform everybody on the hallway to enter the room, and then we can close the door. Aurora, no time for it. Okay, so we are going to start. We are again behind the schedule, but we are going to recuperate as always. We'll manage in a way or another. And without further ado, I am inviting again the director of EU Crimario, Martin Cauchin-Glot, to take the floor.
Thanks, Alex, once again. So we're a bit behind schedule, so I will try and compress what I'm going to speak about now. What is important is that the full members, those which have got a red thing around their necks, okay? Take notes. We will go into a bit more depth when we come to the closed session. So, could I have the next slide, Arthur, please? So, good. So, the first point I need to make is that at the last Ioris Steering Committee meeting, I explained that, unfortunately, could I have your attention, please? Thank you. At the last Ioris Steering Committee meeting, I explained that since the Ioris community is growing, EU Crimario has a budget, and the budget for these meetings is that we can support 130 persons, that we can fund. With this one, I have to admit that we spent a bit more because of the situation in the Gulf. Flights, costs went up, so this one cost a bit more than normal. But at the last Ioris Steering Committee meeting, we agreed that EU Crimario in the future, from the next meeting in November, will not finance 2 participants, it will finance 1. Now, this does not mean that we will not make exceptions and finance 2 when we have funds. We will do it, but we do not want to commit ourselves at this moment in time. Which leads me to the very important point in how do we define who wears a red band and a blue band? How do we define that? We define that by the membership status. Full members and provisional members. Full members and provisional members. Now, the way this is defined lies purely in your hands. Purely in your hands. You are able to qualify yourselves as full members or a level below provisional members. And there is a point system. There is a point system. And this point system is based on your uptake of Ioris, purely. Carrot and stick. The more you use, the more you push Ioris, the more points you get. And I think this is the fairest way. And we try and do this for transparency to show that we have no preferred partners. Now, there is 100 points. To become a full member, you need to get 70 points. 70 points. Below 70 points, you don't qualify. Down to 50 points, that is where there are the provisional members. So the status changes. The status changes. And when do we calculate this? We calculate it 3 months before an Ioris Steering Committee meeting. It can be high level, it can be policy working group. 3 months before, we draw a line, we see who qualified as full members, we see who qualified as provisional, and that's when the invitations go out. That's when you get the invitations. Could I have the next slide, please? So, the guiding document that we have, which regulates what we do together, is the terms of reference. the terms of reference, which you should all have. And we revised the points in the last steering committee, which were approved. So the easiest way to win points, and you will learn a lot, is by the responses to the comms checks. You know, there are the 4 Ioris hubs. Every morning we send out a comms check, and all your operators have to do is press one button, acknowledge, that's it. Right? The value is that your logo will appear on the Ioris screen, and that's way all your partners in the region will know that you're on Ioris. You're ready to receive information and exchange information, okay? But that way, because we don't have exposure to how you're using Ioris, by responding to the comms checks, we take notes of your response that day, okay? Now, by responding to comms checks, you get 51 points if you do it every day, 51 points. Now, you're all senior level policy people, some high level commanders. It's up to you to make it an SOP for your watch standers to press that button. It's up to you. Okay? If you don't enforce that, the tendency is they may forget every now and then, and that's where you lose points, and obviously that affects your ability to come here. The second way you do it, the Ioris monthly form, and Alex, I think we should have that brief on the Ioris monthly form. Yeah, I'll try and finish quickly. The Ioris monthly form is the means through which we get feedback from you on how you're using Ioris concerning all these points below. All these points below. So if you want to register points from these activities below, you have to submit the monthly report, okay? And by submitting the monthly report, you get more points. Unfortunately, it's a maximum of 3. Ioris courses provided by your local certified trainers. So when we went into your country and we provide training to your people, we also frequently train the trainers, because we can't continue training all the countries continually around the globe. So it becomes incumbent on you to pass Ioris skills to your staffs. And when you organize courses with your local trainers, you win more points, 8. The next one, report events in hubs which lead to the creation of OPCAs. So the hubs, we said, are administered by Cremario. The hubs are like VHF channel 16. It's not for heavy exchange of information. It's simply for the reporting of an incident. That's it. To deal with that incident, you need to create a community area, an operational community area, we call it, right? Now, if an incident in a hub leads to the creation of an OPCA and conducting an operation, and you report it, you get 6 points. Next one, leading Ioris-based operations. Now, frequently, EU Cremario does not know that these are happening because you have your community areas and you are running it. So we don't know. But for us, knowing that Ioris is successfully being used is crucial, because if I prove to Antoine, who's not here now, that we are doing a good job, Antoine will give us more money. Okay, so I need to report the success stories. Ioris-based operations reported as an operational success. So this is simply creating an OPCA, that's it. This is now reporting a success story. So at the moment, I think we have around 68 success stories. The success stories booklet is getting bigger. And so when EU organizations, other organizations want to see the value that Ioris is bringing, we give them this brochure. We give them this document with all the success stories in IU, fishing, search and rescue, merchant ship protection, etc., etc. So if you report to us success stories, that helps us get more funds. So this is where we encourage it. Then we have Ioris-based multinational regional exercises. You know, Crimario organizes regional exercises every 6 months. If you participate in it and you provide the documentation that you participated in it, you get more points. One is organize. So here you are leading. You are leading a multi-organization regional exercise. The other one is participating. So here you can win more points by simply participating in the exercise. The next one is organized national interagency exercise with 2 or more bodies. So now it is one organization, Philippines Navy, organizing an interagency exercise, such as exercise Alalayan, where you're bringing the different agencies together. So you're leading with the organizations. Apart from that, there are bonuses, one-time bonuses, one time. You upload documents which are of relevance to the community in the hub. So, for example, you have made a compilation, a report, a study of all the incidents which happened over the 6 months. Maybe you give statistics. If that's of value to your partners and you upload it into the hub, you get an opportunity to win points once. We also have standard operating procedures for the way Ioris is used. We have those which are regional, and sometimes we provide regional workshops, but sometimes we also go into the country and we organize a national interagency workshop where an interagency document is agreed on SOPs on using common language for Ioris. So this helps promote interagency collaboration at the national level. If you do that once, by organization, you get 5 points. So basically, we are continually gathering information and seeing how many points your organizations are acquiring. This starts 9 months. This starts 9 months before the meeting. So for the meeting in November, we have already started accumulating the points, registering the points. And 3 months before, we draw a line. And that's when we see who are full members and who are provisional members. Any questions on what I have explained so far? Any questions on what I have explained so far? No one wants to challenge me? Possible? As you can imagine, this in itself is a bit of a challenge for the EU Crimario team, because every regional and country representative, EU expert, has got different countries with different types of backgrounds, small, large, capable, less capable, many neighbors, few neighbors. And so the EU Crimario experts have to sit around the table and try and find something which is balanced and fair for everyone. So this is the best balance that we found so far. Okay, if there are no questions and it's all clear, the ball is in your court, okay? The more points you score, the better chances you have of getting the privileges of being a full member. Let's go to the next presentation. So what we have also done, we have proposed in the terms of reference that we adjust the mechanism to sell licenses to high-income countries. Okay, we have adjusted the terms of references for high-income countries. Low to mid, that remains the same. Nothing changes, which is for the vast majority of you. So we go to the next slide. The first one is that we offer an Ioris Prime license to partners paying an annual subscription of 10,000 euros a year. And basically they get unlimited admins, unlimited user accounts, unlimited community areas, and 4 Ioris Lite courses, which are online. If they want full courses, we can also provide them. There's an additional cost. And the AIS may or may not be included. May or may not be included because that depends on our contract with the AIS provider. Yes, please go ahead.
The point system is given for one
Organization.
one organization in the country.
Yes.
So the leading organization. You don't really measure into the other
No, no, no.
organizations.
All the organizations in the country. So in your case, it's the
Okay,
Navy.
we have 5.
Yes. It's
All 5 will be measured on the same lines.
Yes, all 5.
So the point system will be.
One thing that we have learnt in the last 5 years is that unless a country agrees to have one focal point of contact, we do bilateral by organization, not by country. If we do by country, it gets political. If it gets political, the politicians and the diplomats do not understand the value of what we are bringing here, right? So we try and get through the political level as quickly as possible to work with you, and then we try and avoid. We had one instance, unfortunately, where it became political, and then we lost a lot of effort and commitment. So we avoid the political level. By organization. Okay. Any more questions on this? If not, we'll move to the next slide. We will also offer the opportunity to sell Ioris to single organizations. So not to a country as a whole, but to a single organization. We had sold in the past to a country, being Germany. But anyway, we now offer the opportunity to sell to a sole organization, okay? This will be cheaper, 2,000 euros annually. But then the amount of user accounts and area admins, that will be adjustable to the needs of every organization. Okay? I say again, these are for higher income countries. Higher income countries. Next, please. So, let's leave this aside for now. So the members of the full committee this afternoon will be asked to approve the proposed licensing costs for high-income countries. So that's the first decision point we take in the afternoon in the closed session. The second thing that we will propose today in the afternoon for approval, you've had the documents, is the Ioris Associate License Agreement. What is this? Basically, as we go forward, there's more and more interest from many organizations to come on board. However, EU Crimario's prime focus partners are navies, coast guards, fisheries, ports, maritime, and then we can make exceptions. If a country does not have a navy or doesn't have a coast guard or whatever, then we can consider police and customs to fit in, okay? There are certain organizations that we cannot collaborate with because of policies of the European Union. At the moment in the Western Indian Ocean, we can't collaborate with fisheries organizations, for example, but these guys want to use Ioris. How do we cover these organizations which are outside our mandate, our ability to finance, right? Because at the end of the day, when I mentioned that we can afford to pay 130 participants join, right? We can't get everyone here. But we want them to use Ioris. We want them to use Ioris. So we are proposing an Ioris Associate License Agreement where we will give them access to Ioris as long as they respect the policies behind Ioris, including data protection, code of conduct, etc., etc. We give them Ioris Light training where we can, but they will not be entitled to enter into formal cooperation with the EU Crimario. They will not be. That means they cannot seek points to become full members or provisional members. So they will not be invited to the Ioris Steering Committee. I'm talking about, for example, counter-narcotics fusion centers in Latin America, which want to use Ioris, but we can't afford to extend cooperation to them, right? So this way, they will be able to use Ioris, but they will never be able to form part of the Ioris steering committee. So basically, this is the second thing that we'll ask you to agree to in the closed meeting, so that we can hopefully adopt it. Next, please. Next, please. Next. And that's about it. Any questions on the association arrangement? Any questions on the association? Yes, please, sir. PNG. Microphone for PNG. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. When you said you referred to extending the services of these to the fisheries, now we have like fisheries in terms of commercial fisheries or agencies which are regulators for fishing industry. So which does this refer to? To the regulators or to the commercial fishing industry?
So no, this all we have discussed so far is for governmental organizations. Okay, so it's for fisheries authorities. So at the moment we have no intent of selling to fisheries commercial organizations. Okay, I don't want to, I wouldn't like you to have doubts on the security of information, right? I'm bringing you back to the beginning of the conference, where we explained that information is always compartmentalized. You have to be inside the group to get the information, right? This is something which will ensure that we continue to maintain protection of data. Okay, Alex, I think it's back to you. Diego Gonzalez. So, Alex.
Thank you, Martin. So now we are going to briefly, very briefly, present you about the personal data protection documents that we were talking for a while, but now we have to concretize this process because it's very important for the EU, but also for you, your agency. So please, your organizations. Please, Diego.
Thank you, Alice. Okay, as Alice introduced, I'm talking about personal data protection. We're talking about names, surnames, address, emails, telephone numbers, but we are sharing as well crew list, personal information between countries regarding investigations. So we need to take care on personal data protection, and we need to comply with the European Data Protection Regulation that is shown on the screen. And based on that, what are we doing? We created a data protection structure in Crimario. How? Oh, please, next one. Okay, we created a Ioris data protection policy that has been approved by the policy board and forward to all of you. Next, please. We created an agency data protection agreement and a data protection officer designation. In Manila, in the last working group meeting in Manila, we rethink about that and we eliminate the data protection officer designation because we are not asking you to nominate a data protection officer for Primario. Only we need to know who is your data protection officer. And this is included in the previous document, in agency data protection agreement. So we simplified a little bit these templates. Next, please. But I need to address your attention in that point. Agency data protection, we need it. We need each agency signing the data protection agreement. We insisted a lot in Manila. We set a date. It has been passed. And we are asking you, please, to forward the data protection agreement no later than 1st of September. is a document that is needed to accomplish with this personal data protection structure that we are created in Crimario. Next one, please. And finally, we create a personal data breach notification form. It's a template that the data protection officer in each agency can fill and send to Crimario in case that we realize about any kind of data protection breach, because we need to address with it. Nothing else on my side. I don't know if there is any questions on that. Please, we can go to the previous one. So we set the 1st of September this year for all agencies sending us the data protection agreement. Sign it. It's a template that has been circulated. I will circulate it again through the Crimario national and regional representatives. It's a quite easy document, only stating the name of the agency, who is the data protection officer, and we need it before that date, please. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we move to the policy board and the working group's progress reports. So we're going to have the PB chair and with Mr. Alex, we're going to have the operational working group chair, Eli, and the legal working group chair, Diego, all coming to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. So finally, I had somebody to invite me to the stage. And I am also inviting my colleagues, the chairs of the operational working group and legal, to come here. Come on, Eli, everybody wants to see you again. So because we are, again, behind the schedule, we are going to be very quick with this one. So I'm the chair of the policy board. And next slide, please. Actually, I have this. So just a quick reminder, the policy board is this group that is supporting the decision-making process of the steering committee. So we prepare documents, we also approve documents, some of them on behalf of the steering committee, and we also guide the work of the other working groups. All in all, to support you as decision makers for the steering committee to take decisions. So that was just a reminder. We in Manila, so here we are going to very briefly tell you what we have done in Manila in the last meeting of the working groups. So I'm going to be reading only the titles. So we discussed about how to enhance Ioris operational and operational use and efficiency at national and regional level. And we come up with a list of challenges and solutions at the same time. They are all listed in the minutes of this meeting. Just briefly, some of them, challenges and solutions, how to address this. Okay, then we discussed a previous amendment to the terms of reference that was already addressed by Martin briefly before, when we concretized this rating chart that was presented, and it was amended 2 weeks after the meeting through a silence procedure. We also talked about the process of institutionalization of the community areas, things that we are going actually to put in practice now with you in the today discussions and networking that will be following this session, when we are going to finally formalize a number of community areas. And I am sure that my colleagues, the regional reps or country reps, already talked to you. If not, we are going to discuss this in the next session. We also talked about the importance of agencies and authorities taking responsibility of internal training and exercises, because this is how we all know that a capability like Ioris, an operational capability, becomes fully operational. You have to take ownership with our support of training and exercises to make the Ioris a platform of choice and of daily use. We also talk about the importance of appointing experts from each agency, from each organization for the policy board and working groups to be sure that we have continuity and we have a handover from the new ones to from the previous ones to the new ones. We talked about the statistical data, you know, what was mentioned by Eli before, and now we make that happen. A policy on statistical data that will be hopefully agreed in the full member session after lunch. We also talked about live operations, support from EU Crimario that was presented by Andrew. So all in all, to see that these initiatives came from somewhere. You know, we just came up with them, they were discussed and brainstormed in the policy board with the recommendations for the steering committee to approve it. We also talk about the monthly feedback form that I am going to address also later, and that was all from the policy board. Now I am passing the floor to Eli.
Okay, so please, I need your attention for maximum 4 minutes because this is for me something very important to show you how the outcomes of the working groups are being translated into the Ioris steering committee. On the left-hand side, I will show you what was agreed or what was the conclusion of the working groups meetings in Manila. And on the right-hand side, I'll show you how we are implementing this and how we are proposing this now to the steering committee. So first, we discussed the Ioris Prime and Lite overview, how we train Ioris Lite users, how we train Ioris Prime users, how we customize the access control for Ioris new accounts to the platform. And then on the right-hand side, I show you that now we have already implemented the Ioris Prime and Lite access control, and we have already proceeded since August 2025, so only 3 months after the working groups meetings in Manila, we have proceeded to the Ioris Lite trainings, and many of you have already attended some of those courses, which is a 3 or 4 hours course online. So that was the first proposal implemented and is already up and running. The second one is the proposed future developments. We discussed the Ioris versions, and you were the ones who said, yes, it might be very interesting to have an Ioris variant for ships, Ioris variant for fish. Some of you said we want an Ioris variant for the maritime single window. That's everything is being discussed, but today, yesterday, we presented the Ioris variants, which are fish, SAR, and port, and that's already, as I said, on the right-hand side, Ioris versions have been now just recalled Ioris variants and have been presented 2 days ago in the steering committee. The third one is enhancing export of PDF and statistics. Yesterday, I presented how we are planning to enhance the statistics of Ioris. That was already proposed by you as well, and the proposal has been taken into consideration, and now we are aiming to start the development of the enhanced statistics very soon. Enhance the form templates. This one is still pending. You propose to enhance the forms in terms of adding images, adding a read-only. I think that came from the Philippines. The remark that when we export the forms, we want them to be read-only or protected with a password, and we want them to include images. This is still pending. It's on our next list of Ioris developments that we're going to send to our developers. Platform access level principles in forms. Again, we said that the platform access level on system admin level, area admin level, and basic users level is to be enforced, that only area admin can give access to members to their own community area. So no matter what access level do you have, even a system admin, no one can access a community area except added by an area administrator. Ioris mobile app agreed and proposal drafted. We discussed the mobile app intensively in the working groups. You proposed to us what should a mobile app include, what functionalities are important on a phone, and what functionalities are only important on, are only relevant on a web-based platform. And that was all taken into consideration in our operational requirement document, and the mobile app is already in development. And the last point is the Marcom app. We presented it as an idea in the working groups, and we discussed it also intensively in the working groups, and you liked the idea of the Marcom app for seafarers, and we discussed the Marcom app for fishers and the Marcom app for recreational boaters, and that discussion turned into a very big document called operational requirement document, and is now being studied by our developers. Before I end, I want to emphasize only on one very, very important point. Ioris is not only the operational platform. We have given you a tool that is extremely powerful for training as well. Please remember, you have access to the Ioris training platform as well. I wish I had access to a training platform when I was still in the Navy or when I was still directing part of our territorial water, because that would have been an immense advantage for me to train the units, to train the centers, and to train the admin staff on how to relay decisions and how to assist the decision maker and make it very quicker and efficient. So please do use the training platform. If you have any problems with the training platform or accessing the training platform, just let us know and we will fix it in no time. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm not talking about the legal working group mandate. Is clearly stated on the terms of reference, but is the framework for a legal working group work, of course. We worked in the memorandum of understanding. The memorandum of understanding was created in the second steering committee in Bali. Briefly to explain that this is a document among all the countries. So it's a document that all the countries and all the agencies sign to share information between them. It's not a document between Primario and an agency. It's a document for all the countries. We have 21 agencies signing the memorandum of understanding so far, and we are working on it, and we will again insist on circulating the document for the next working group meeting. We have some sessions on digital evidence, on the court admissibility, how to extract the relevant information from Ioris. We are working in a Ioris chain of evidence checklist, and we are taking part in the new manual of UNODC, Maritime Domain Awareness and Digital Evidence, as Primario. We always insist in these legal working group sessions to reinforce the liaison between the operative branches and the legal ones, because it's needed the legals to let know the MOCs and the operators what they need in the case of a legal finish. As well, we are working in analyzing some interesting and important cases under a legal perspective, and we are creating a catalog and a synopsis of evidential cases for all the people to be able to analyze this type of new cases in all the regions. We are working in including legal finish and law enforcement aspects in regional exercise in Primario, and we are creating with UNODC a catalog of exercise and tests to be performed during regex for the legal branches to work on that and to coordinate with the operational branches. And that's all on behalf of the legal working group. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. Yeah, you can take your seats now. Good. So now, in the interest of time, I will pass directly without introduction to the next session that will be also presented by me. So, monthly feedback form. As Martin mentioned, this feedback is very important to us because that helps us. Next slide, please. It has three main objectives. One is to gather statistics that are delivered by you, provided by you. A second is to identify gaps and ways to improve Ioris usage. And third one is a qualifier to participate in the Ioris steering committee meetings because it reflects actually the rating chart. Next slide, please. The process. We send each month a link to the point of contact designated already for this monthly feedback. And we would like to be filled in until by the 15th of the month for the previous one. The questions are very simple in this feedback form. They are not about what data, but where and how. Like how frequently have you accessed the community area? Which type? If you created any OPCAs, if you shared relevant documents in the hub, how many trainings, how many exercises. So basically reflecting the rating chart. Next. So this feedback, as I said, is the primary means for the EU Crimario to validate the operational use of Ioris, to demonstrate the real-world usage of the platform to the European Union. Again, as Martin mentioned, it's very important to us to show that the investment of the EU is relevant and it continues to remain relevant, and to build a case to secure future funding, as mentioned. And as already highlighted, it helps you to qualify to participate as a full member in the steering committee. Advantages, it allows the partners to provide feedback, enables Crimario to identify areas where collaboration needs to be improved or enabled, and allows Crimario to extract success stories. This is another very important aspect. You know, at higher level, people are not interested in details, but in success stories. So these are very important to us, as you can imagine, to withdraw. And this is important notification. The failure to submit reports may limit future funding, as I highlighted before. I will pass through this. So just briefly, what we have collected in the last 3 months. So in average, 60 organizations responded from over 35 countries, and 85 responded on the regular use of Ioris, 85% of the usage of Ioris operational platform. So this is how we compile the results. You know, statistics, as mentioned, is how many hubs, how many community areas, which geographical community areas, and we can see and we can present that to our masters. The main use of the platform, for what reason our partners use the platforms? To share information, to download documents, to request information, etc., etc. Success stories. We gathered in the last 3 months 12 success stories, and we know the countries and the topics. So very important aspects to report on how we are valuable and useful for the partners and for regional collaboration. Local training organized, or internal training organized by our partners, by you. In the last 3 months, 29 training courses, number of agencies per each training between 1 and 3, and even 4 agencies in the same training, durations of training, etc. national exercises. We had 5 national exercises and 10 regional exercises only in the last 3 months. So again, your feedback matters to us and to you. And it only takes 10 minutes to fill in this form. Because together we can strengthen the collaboration and to better address the maritime security and safety challenges. Thank you so much for your attention. And now I'm coming back to my role as a moderator, and I would like to invite you now to go. We are going to split again in the syndicates as we were split yesterday. So please go to the same rooms and to the same gatherings in this room. And we are going to discuss a bit further, mainly about this community area formalization and also other aspects of improving regional collaboration. And we will need to finish between, I think, 12:30, right? To be ready for lunch. Any questions? Okay. If no questions, so I invite you kindly to move now to the respective syndicate location. Thank you, and see you soon. Southeast Asia, as mentioned in the adjacent room. Thank you.